it's a really good story on both ends. And speaking of another good story, Tennessee State, they won Saturday night against Southeast Missouri State to win a share of the Big South OVC championship. And on Sunday, the selection committee did not screw them. Well, they partially screwed them, but they did not screw them in terms of like keeping them out of the playoffs. They were able to earn a postseason bid for the first time since 2013. They won a share of at least a conference title for the first time since 1999. Tennessee State not picked to win the Big South OVC, but coming off what they did last year by winning 6 games and being in the hunt for the conference title kind of gave them some momentum. It appeared a few weeks ago when they had that heartbreaking loss. They were not gonna make the playoffs, but they won 7 of their last 8 games to end the season, beating the number 11 team in the FCS by a comfortable margin. I think they did a lot for the committee and just the way they finished the season to make the playoffs. They're gonna play against Montana in round 1 coming up late Saturday night, 10:15 Eastern on ESPN2. So the folks will get at least to see the ball game, despite the fact of the matchup and the setup. But fellas, what would you make of this run by Tennessee State to make the playoffs and the job that Eddie George has done to build up their program? Starting with Jared.
Man, when we talk about HBCU Coach of the Year, Eddie George needs to be in that discussion, and I don't want to hear anything other than his name being mentioned. He may not win it, but he will definitely be in that discussion because this Tennessee State team has seemingly just slowly but surely built themselves into being the team that we see them as now. Think about the fact that they lost the Buck Buchanan Award winner and somehow got better. That's insane to me. The fact that they did it by committee. They have multiple guys on the defensive line. They have multiple guys in the secondary at the linebacker position that just produced together. And we see the proof in the pudding. Obviously, Draylon Ellis is a guy that will be in the running for the Deacon Jones Trophy. Maybe at some point I'll do a Deacon Jones Trophy power rankings, but he's a guy that will get some consideration for that award. He's been a guy that's just continued to stay with it. It just looked like he was going to be down in the dumps, like that he wasn't going to be able to fulfill that potential that we saw when he came from Austin Peay. But he stayed with it, and we see now he's reaping the benefits of his hard work. This is a Tennessee State team that I'm so proud to see them. This is just an amazing weekend for HBCU football. Having 2 D2s win in the playoffs, having Tennessee State clinch a share of the Big South OVC. They had to work for it against Southeast Missouri, even after they got out to that great start and kind of curtailed off at the end of the first half. But they bent, but they didn't break, similar to how Miles did. So as far as the draw against Montana, it's tough. That's really tough. Going against that Montana team that has their only losses are against they have 2 losses against 2 teams with losing that ended the season with losing records. So that could be a recipe. Maybe Montana goes in there overconfident and Tennessee State plays a great game and they can sneak one out of there. But that's going to be a real tough game for Tennessee State. But I have the confidence that Eddie George will get them right, and he'll lean on his championship pedigree as a player, to get his team ready for the challenge that will soon come for them. But just so proud of the season that Tennessee State has, and no matter what happens going forward, they have nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah, Chris. So, what do you make of Tennessee State season and kind of like the ups and downs? And he wrote about this in a beautiful column you wrote Saturday night after they won the game, but just about like how they accomplished all they accomplished this season, despite the fact there's a lot of turmoil going on with their university. Just speak to that and kind of like how it all fits into their season this year.
Hey, cannot, only love can bring you out of darkness. Hate can't do that. And Tennessee State operated from a place of love this year on the football field. And they had some tough ones. I mean, they absolutely got their doors blown up by North Dakota State, which honestly should give them confidence because Montana is not North Dakota State. Number one. I mean, they lost a tough one to Tennessee Tech and UT Martin, who they ended up tying with for the OVC title. And they just literally have just kept their nose to the grindstone and just put in the work and got the job done. I mean, we've seen the stories. I mean, we've reported, that, they've been shortchanged like $1 billion over the lifespan of the university. And now here comes the state legislature saying, oh, Tennessee State's out of money. You guys are going to have to close your school. And Tennessee State gave them the Stone Cold Steve Austin salute. I'm not going to do it here because I don't want Kim Rashad to have to pay an FCS fine, but the salute. And they've done a tremendous job. Like Saturday, they jumped out on Southeast Missouri, and the Red Hawks did not know what hit them. CJ Evans, who we didn't mention, had a great game. He brought their opening kickoff out to midfield. That gave Tennessee State a short field. Draylon Ellis was able to hit Jalal Dean for the first touchdown. First possession for Southeast Missouri. Cam Blaylock absolutely drills Paxton DeLaurent. Keandre Booker picks up the ball, scoop and score. Before anybody can really get comfortable, it's 14-0. And that was all Tennessee State really needed. Yeah, they ended up, letting Southeast Missouri back in the game slowly but surely, but that was just too tall of a hill to climb for SEMO. And that was the kind of start that Tennessee State needed, and they had it in abundance. So they knew what was at stake. Eddie George knew what was at stake. And this is a program that could actually, if they somehow find a way to keep Eddie George, because there's been rumors that he's being considered for the Kennesaw State job. And then, of course, there are going to be other schools sniffing around saying, hey, we want some of that Heisman running back trophy winner turned football coach action. But if they can somehow keep Eddie George, and like I said, with Miles and Virginia Union, there are going to be kids in Tennessee and Kentucky and Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia say, hey, we can go play for a Heisman trophy winner, be at an HBCU and still be eligible for the playoffs. Yeah. So there's a lot to like about what Tennessee State's got going on the football field. Hopefully that school can rally itself off the field, and maybe this will be the start of it, because now people can see that there's pride in what that football team does, and then that university can follow suit and just start, fighting back against the racism that's going on within the Tennessee State legislature. But as far as the football goes, yeah, I'm not too happy about that that draw, because why does Tennessee State have to go to Montana when you got teams that are like, in the coastal that went like 7-5 and 8-4, and they stand right at home on the East Coast? Send Richmond out to Montana, for crying out loud. I mean, they can afford it. I mean, what's the point? So, but either way, very proud of Tennessee State. I feel like they've got a chance against Montana because, like I said, once you see North Dakota State, you've seen them all. So they'll go up there. They'll wear their sleeves. They'll wear their what they call them things, shiesties. I guess they call them shiesties. They'll wear their sleeves. They'll wear their shiesties and gloves and go up there and give Montana a game. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing it. Uh-oh.
Where's the sign?
I saw him. You know what's funny? The whole time Chris was talking, I saw Kendrick on mute, and I was like, he is going to talk on mute.
The sign. Dang.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Brian versus the chicken portion of our program. If you're familiar with Family Guy, whenever Brian and that chicken get described.
I mean, Peter.
Oh, Peter. Sorry, Peter.
Peter.
Peter and the chicken. This is the Peter and the chicken segment of our program. Whenever Peter and the chicken get described, you know what it is. And whenever Kendrick talks on mute, you know what it is.
As I was saying before I muted myself, I don't want to throw any cold water on it, but like the only disappointing part of Saturday night for Tennessee State was like looking at the box score, actually looking at television, and then look at the box score and see like only 2,700 people showed up to Eastside Stadium to watch them play.
Yeah.
And I know we ragged on Eddie George last year about his concern about attendance, but like with a game like that happened on Saturday night, there should have been way more than 2,700 people there at the game.
In an NFL stadium too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, an NFL stadium too. The stadium that Eddie George actually played in when he was an NFL player. Yeah, I mean, like normally we don't harp on like attendance too much around here, but the fans have to be better. I mean, your football team playing for a championship and playing for opportunity to go to the playoffs, something that happened around there in a long time. you would have hoped that like a lot more people would have showed up to watch that game. So congrats to Tennessee State, but we're hoping like in the future, next season, that a lot more people show up to games, man. Because like this is a really good football team. Eddie George is building something really special in Nashville.
One